Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rose, and if you're returning, thank you so much for your support. Today's video is on how to prepare for a job interview. I felt like this was super timely and wanted to get it out for all of you that are looking for a new job. As you may know, a job interview's primary purpose is to allow the interviewer to get to know the person interviewing for the job. It's about gaining knowledge, it's about making your resume come to life. And on the flip side, it's also your time to get to know the company a little bit better and fill out any gaps that you may have in your knowledge of what the job actually takes or what the company is about. First piece of advice I have is to reread the job description itself and really get to know what the job description says. Through doing this, you can highlight the areas where you're excited about something specific in the job, something that you think that you're extraordinary at and that you can bring the most value, and then something that you're good at but want to improve on. And by reviewing these three things, you'll have some immediate things that you can respond with when the interviewer asks why you're interested in this specific job or this specific company. What you want to do next is get to know yourself in relation to that job. Have some specific instances where you have already done some of the responsibilities that are listed. And then have some specific examples of things that are on your resume already that can apply directly to this particular job. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't have to be super technical. So let's say you're switching completely in your field. Maybe you're going from being a teacher to being a salesperson. There's still many things that can translate there, even if it's not direct. So you want to highlight the things about yourself that you know can apply to this future job. Please make sure that you are ready to describe why you want this specific job, why you want to work for this specific company, and potentially even why you want to work for this specific person. Having these things ready to answer or even to just share with the interviewer will definitely help in adding to the positive attributes of your candidacy and will get you that next step further. You are most likely aware that there's going to be some emotional intelligence questions asked during a job interview. And what I mean by this is they're probably going to ask you what you feel your strengths are, as well as what you feel your weaknesses are. Now, some advice on the internet will tell you to basically turn one of your strengths into a weakness by saying things like you're a perfectionist. I don't recommend doing this. I would actually recommend really going within yourself and understanding what is your true strength. Everyone has something. Everyone has at least one thing that they can say that they are super strong at. And maybe it was a weakness in the past and you've overcome that and now you're super strong at it. Otherwise, for the weakness part, I would say you definitely want to have an actual weakness. At least when I'm interviewing candidates, I want to hear what they really feel is their weakness. I don't want to hear some fluffy thing. And I will be super honest, I judge candidates that tell me that they're a perfectionist. With that being said, when you think about your weakness, this doesn't have to go overboard, you don't have to get too into the details, but definitely select something where you're looking to work on it. And it can also be something that you ask for help for once you get into that role. I would recommend looking at websites like BetterHelp and maybe even doing the Strength Finder assessment, doing things like this where you can actually get to the nitty-gritty. Some people already know what their weaknesses are. The other part to this is you can actually think about when you're most stressed or you're outside your comfort zone, how you act. Obviously, this is not always pretty, but it is something that can point to what one of your weaknesses could be and something that you can give specific examples about, as well as what you're doing to improve upon it and make it become a strength instead of a weakness. The next part of this is preparing to get to know the person or people you're speaking with. Oftentimes you will interview directly with the hiring manager, the person that will be your boss basically, and other times you're going to be interviewing with various people that you'll either be directly working with and a part of their team, or people that you will more distantly be working with that will be important stakeholders. Sometimes nowadays you can find almost everyone on LinkedIn. And if they're not on LinkedIn, that also shares something about themselves. Maybe they're a more private person. Either way, what you want to do is understand who that person is, or have an understanding of who that person is before you even go into the interview. You can also ask the HR business partner to describe the person. This is very helpful. Oftentimes they'll give you some hints on how to interview well with them if they know them. And once you're in the interview itself, you want to ask questions about their leadership style. You want to ask questions about how they act within the team setting. You also may want to understand what their level of expectation is for this role. And that goes for the hiring manager or from someone that you might be working directly with, maybe a peer. This will highlight some of the things that might not be as obvious in the job description itself. Learning about these individuals, you'll also get to decide whether you actually want to work with them. In my past, oftentimes I've sort of been criticized by friends when I actually decline a job offer because I've decided that I wouldn't mesh well with either the hiring manager or members of the team. Keep in mind, everyone you meet with, from the HR business partner through to even the person that originally contacted you through recruitment, and then of course the hiring manager and the team, they're all telling you a story about that company. Now, I have been fortunate to work for some pretty big brands where the majority of the people that I interview with are spectacular and make me want to work there. However, I've also interviewed with companies that I ended up not working at, and the reason why I didn't go there is because I didn't feel comfortable with even the interviews. And I think this is a very bold choice, but you have to do what's right for you. Either way, through gaining the knowledge during these interviews, you can determine if this company or place is right for you. Another thing I would recommend doing is preparing questions about the job itself. Things like, what is the day-to-day look like? Or what is the KPIs associated with this position? Each of these questions, even if it's already in the job description, you can listen especially to the hiring manager and see how they describe it. And this way you'll know how you will be measured and what that individual's expectations of you are. The last few things I have here are more around your personal approach going into the interview. And the first thing I wrote in this section was, dress so that you're comfortable but appropriate for the job. Don't go out and buy something brand new for this. I would recommend wearing something that you have worn in the past, that you did feel comfortable, you felt yourself in, you could move around easily in, even if it's a virtual one. But also make sure you're dressing appropriate for the job. Oftentimes in roles that I have taken, they are corporate jobs, and you will want to dress a little bit better than you would on a day-to-day basis if you got the job. This is a sign of respect. It's also a way to show that you're serious about the position. And then I've also seen the total flip side of this, especially during the pandemic, where people were asked to dress more casually, or if the company is a very casual company and they're wearing hoodies and sweatshirts, perhaps it's a startup or something like that, then they also expect you to blend seamlessly in. Usually the recruiter or HR business partner will tell you about this going into it, but at the end of the day, no matter what, you want to be comfortable. So if you're not comfortable wearing a hoodie to an interview, don't do it. This could eliminate you from your candidacy, but also it says something because you may not fit it in from a cultural perspective, and you want to learn that as soon as possible. That is what part of the interview process is for. The next thing is all about attitude. You want to go into these job interviews with the belief that you're going to get the job. If you're serious about the job, please have that belief. The second part of this attitude thing is realizing that the person interviewing you is also a person. I can't tell you the amount of times where I've been interviewing a candidate and it's almost like they're on the defensive and they don't realize I'm just a person. I will also say that I tend to do my best to make the candidate feel super comfortable and at ease, and I try to be actually more full of expression in my face when I'm interviewing just to make them feel better. But not all people that are interviewing do this. Some will make it super difficult for you. But at the end of the day, you want to be who you are, and just remember that the person on the other side of the table is a person as well. Therefore, do not be scared of them. Don't have fear. Feel free to pause before you make your answers, or say that you haven't thought about something if you really haven't. Be honest with them. And if they are a decent human being, then they will understand this because, like I said, they are people too. And again, if they're not nice about it, or if they are off-putting and not friendly, then this is another piece of information that you have gathered to decide if you actually want this position or not. Well, everyone, I hope that this was super helpful, and please do write in the comments once you get your job offer. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to know which of these tips you hadn't heard before, or maybe which helped you build your confidence going into your interview. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like, give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.